What? He said America's Egypt. What? In fact, I did. Not only did I tell you that America's Egypt, but now I'm going to show you that it is the most massive empire that you have ever not seen in your entire life, and that they've been hiding it in plain sight right in your face, and I'm going to show you. First and foremost, I want to introduce you to the real map of America before everything got renamed. Okay? Now, we've already shown you that Caesarion and Cleopatra, Selene, and, you know, the royal family from the East Coast, and we've also shown you the Red Sea on the West Coast. You also know that down in Florida, you know, where Jerusalem is where, you know, close to the area where you find your gopher wood. Then you've got Palestine here in Texas, right? There's a lot of interesting things, right? You got Moab over here, right, by Judah, right, which is Judah, or Utah, which is Putah. But, you know, there's a lot of things that are floating around about all this space. But what if I were to tell you that, I don't know, maybe over 40-something states in the United States have pyramids in them that they're just not telling you about, that are all around you? Some of them look like mountains. Some of them you just don't see because you're not allowed to go into those areas. But everywhere in America has pyramids, almost every single state. And if you don't believe me, I've taken the time to list them all off in alphabetical order. If you would like me to show you that in alphabetical order, feel free to leave a comment. But this land used to look very different. It's only recently that these things don't seem to exist here anymore. Now notice how it's a Moorish, a Moroccan. Right? Moorish, Moroccan. Notice how it's not M-O-O-R. What did I tell you? It's Mauritanian. M-A-U-R-I-T-A-N. Okay? Now, furthering, you know, for all of you racists out there that think that rebel flag belongs to anybody else, no, that's the original flag of the land from the original people. This is my ancestors' shit. This has nothing to do with a bunch of racist people riding around on horseback in fucking bed sheets. Now, Florida is one of the places that you can still find remnants of the old castles. But I want you to see some things that you don't see anymore quite so clearly, right? These are the castles and the palaces found in the Americas. Now, if you're wondering why it is that you don't seem to recognize them anymore these days, it's due to the fact that these are now turned into college campuses and hotels. But wait, let's go a little further back, shall we? Oh, you mean this is what it used to look like in Florida? You know, kind of just like that emblem that I showed you? You know, that was only in the 1920s though, so what do we know? See, we start finding some old photos and things start to look very different than they do these days, don't they? Look at all the little people that are coming here to visit the original inhabitants of the land and their giant fucking castles that they couldn't possibly figure out how to build. You know, like the Sui Palace of the 1890s in Iowa. Things that people don't fucking get. Right? They want to lie to you and tell you when the camera was made. No, bullshit, bitch. We've been had pictures here because this is an advanced civilization. Funny how this is Sui City Palace, but yet the people that claim to be Native Americans will tell you that they lived in teepees and huts and shit that went with nature. No, this is what going with nature looks like. This is sacred geometry. This is free energy. Now, let's not forget the fact that you have sphinxes in all over the place out here, you know, from Guatemala to Ohio, in the middle of fucking Memphis for no reason. No, you ain't not Memphis. You know, fuck the one that they found in the Grand Canyon that's fucking slaughtered to pieces and shit. You know, somebody didn't just rock the shit out of it until it started coming apart. No, not at all. That's natural. Now I want you to really start looking carefully at these buildings. Just look at them for a moment. These are all Egyptian structures. All of them. Literally. These are also all across the Americas All right? Look at all these castles, all these empires and castles that are repurposed as schools. All across the Americas. So literally, I want you to think about it like this. That there's 50 states, that means there's 50 continents, 50 countries, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? Over here in the Americas, right? And at least 2 empires per state. These are full-on castles. But you don't realize that you're in the greatest empire in the world. You don't find anything like this anywhere else in the world. Not the way that it is here in the Americas. Right? Right? You don't find it in any of the seals anywhere else in the world either. Check out this little great insert. America, which is also called the New World and the West Indies, in respect of us, was discovered in 1492 by Christopher Columbus, a general, and in 1497 by Amerigo Vespucci, a Florentine, from which it takes the name. 'Tis thought that this part of the universe was not altogether unknown to the Antiochs. The Phoenicians and the Carthaginians had some knowledge of the country we now call America, but the hazard of the seas and the small skill they had in navigation made them forsake or neglect all commerce with it. Speaking of the design of the people of Alphia and Africa, foretells the discoveries that have been made in them 2 last ages. Plato, in his Timaeus, brings in the Egyptian priests telling Solemn that there was heretofore beyond Hercules' pillars an island called Atlantis, larger than all Alphia and Africa, which was overflowed by a horrible earthquake and extraordinary rain. They related the king that ruled there, the power of their conquests, greater origin, Proclus Porphyr, and Marcellus Fianus confirmed this story. Aristotle, speaking of the wonders of the world, says that certain pilots of Carthage have discovered a large country, fruitful in all things beyond Hercules' pillars. Several families of the Commonwealth went hither to dwell. Very interesting things. Oh, look at the James Bay fucking lake right there. Isn't that interesting, right? You got New Britain, you got Florida, Gulf of Mexico, it's all very, very interesting. But, oh, look at that. California, still separate. Oh, look at that. Wonder what that river could be. But, I would imagine that some things might have changed when, Jesus of Lubeck made its way to the Americas and started taking over. Because, even on the Old Testament map, right, it still shows the Red Sea over here, right, and it still shows this being Egypt and that being Babylon. That makes sense because right around here in this area would be where you would find Cairo and then Memphis and then, you get what I'm saying? Like, think about this for a second. And let's also not forget that Morocco that you see now wasn't created until the 1950s. But, Florida, and, Mexico, Alabama, Arkansas, Colorado, Delaware. Colorado, Georgia, Hawaii, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas. And then you have King Tut's Key, right? Then Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Mississippi, Montana, Nebraska, New Jersey, North Dakota. We can keep going all day. These are all the pyramids.